morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Huddle Hub Podcast. My name is Metal Mike, and we are here today to talk about pretty much all the news that's been going on throughout the world of football throughout the week. And I want to let y'all know before we get started to head over to all of the Huddle Hub social medias on TikTok, X, and YouTube at the Huddle Hub Pod. Please hit that follow button and the subscribe button over on YouTube. It would definitely be appreciated. YouTube is where we post all past episodes, full episodes, and shorts, clips, and highlights from all the shows. Again, my name is Metal Mike. You can also find myself on social media, Instagram, X, TikTok, Snapchat, and Twitch. Metal Mike 714 is where you can find me personally. So, guys, it's been a pretty interesting week in the world of football. And you're probably thinking, Mike, what was so interesting about it? Well, there was a lot of news that came out of this week. Okay, we had a lot of undrafted free agents who got signed, who came out of the draft from last week. We also got some news that we're going to talk about in regards to prank calls that were happening to the draftees, and some players that were being picked up on their fifth-year options, and some players that were not being picked up on their fifth-year options. So we got a lot to talk about. Also, there is a list of the top 10 games that are going to be happening in 2025. Okay, so we got a top 10 list today. So that's what we're gonna talk about. Okay, we'll be here for probably about 60 minutes or so talking news in the world of football. Okay, so let's get into it, guys. All right. Now, one thing I do want to say is before we get started here, everybody has their own opinion on things, okay? And this is in regards to the prank calling thing. Okay, the prank calls that happened to all the draftees that had happened to this past week, or during the draft, I should say. Okay. Now, one thing I want to say before we get into this subject is there have been a lot of players throughout the years that have gotten prank calls, and they have found out that it was a family member, a friend, somebody they knew, somebody that is supposed to have their phone number. Okay? Now, the stuff that we're going to talk about today is not in those regards whatsoever. They're not. And is this as serious as it's being made out to be? I think it's a little serious. I think it's at the 50-50 rate right now. And what I mean is prank calls are prank calls. Kids are going to be kids. But when it's a 21-year-old who's doing it, still a kid, kind of, but you're also an adult. Okay? You're also an adult. Let's just get into it, okay? Let's just get into it. Everybody knows that Shedeur Sanders, quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, he was prank called during the draft, during day 2 of the NFL draft, okay? Now, reports have come out that it was done by Jeff Ulbrich, the Atlanta Falcons defensive coordinator's son. 21 years old, and he got his hands on Shedeur Sanders' phone number and made the call. And I'm going through my notes here just to get the right information here as far as what consequences are coming from this. Okay, offensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich. I apologize. Offensive coordinator, not defensive coordinator. But anyways, Jeff Ulbrich. He was fined $100,000 after his son made the prank call. But not only that, the Atlanta Falcons themselves were fined $250,000. So, again, when a prank call happens, we know it's a joke. I did it as a kid. I'm sure you guys done it as kids. You just found a phone number. And for those young viewers, okay, there was this thing called a phone book back in the day. It was a big book with a lot of numbers. It was alphabetical order. And then in the back, those were called the yellow pages. Okay. And then in the back of the book were the white pages. And those were businesses. Okay. So if you were smart, you tried to do it mainly to a business that you know would be funny to. Because if you did it to somebody personal, like a home, if they have caller ID, they're calling your ass back if you didn't know to push *67. Right? Okay. Well, the difference between this and that is this is an NFL organization. You are supposed to be protecting the identity of these players. And I'm not talking just phone numbers. I'm talking address, where they live, where they go to work out, even what school they go to. Now, again, the schools are out there. We know that. We know that if you go online, you can look up the address to Colorado, Colorado State, Penn State, Michigan, Michigan State. You can look up those addresses. But what I mean is you're trying to protect the identity of that said player. And the Atlanta Falcons and Jeff Ulbrich failed to do this. Now, if it was somebody like a cousin to Shedeur, or, maybe Dion went into another room and prank called him, that's different. That's somebody personal. It's somebody that's supposed to have his phone number. The only consequences that are going to be made is personally done. And I'm sure they would get a good laugh from it. I don't think it would go as far as a ha ha ha. But this is an NFL organization who is supposed to be keeping the identity of this player safe. And they failed to do so. Because one of their coordinators, somebody who works for them, a coach, a very important coach at that, their kid got a hold of this. Now, apparently it happened to Abdul Carter as well, the new edge rusher for the New York Giants out of Penn State. We are yet to know the information on that, whether it was somebody he knew or somebody he didn't know. But I've had arguments all week about this. And there's differences. Prank calls, yes, they're meant to be funny. We get that. But just imagine being a player that is about to end up in the NFL or the NBA or the NHL or MLB, any major sports organization. And you are sitting there, okay? And let's say you are expected to go on day one. And you fall into day two. You're sitting there thinking, man, what did I do? What do I gotta do? What happened? I thought this team was interested in me and they were ready to take me yesterday. And then you get this phone call. Oh, this is such and such from this team. And we're going to take you here with our next pick. Oh, wait. No, never mind. You're going to have to wait a little later. And then hang up. Like, that's soul crushing. I could just imagine. Now, I get it. Shedeur got picked in the 5th round by the Browns. I get it. He got picked. He got picked up 5th round. But when you go and look at all the mock drafts and the percentages, the expectancy of where you're supposed to go, and you go and you bust your ass to make sure that you are one of the first 32 players picked on that first day, you're just like, man, what did I do? You're not thinking what you got to do because everything you can do, you've done up until that point. Now it's all about getting picked. You're sitting there wondering, what did I do? What did I do wrong? And knowing you can't fix it. And then for that to happen, that's crushing. Now, I know there's a lot of people that are not fans of Shedeur Sanders. I know there isn't. I know there's a lot of people out there that aren't fans. I can't really sit here and say whether I'm a fan of him or not. I really didn't get to see too many games from him. And I really didn't follow him personally like I know he does streaming and everything like that. So I don't know him. I can't sit here and say whether I'm a fan of him or not. But do I feel sympathy for him? Yeah, I do. Now, again, I understand he got picked by the Browns in the 5th round. He's on a team. But 5th round, that's not a guarantee. He's going to be in training camp. But there's no guarantee he's going to be on that roster. Because he's battling with 3 other quarterbacks. Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, and Gabriel. Right? Dillon Gabriel. Another rookie who was supposed to go sooner than what he did. So I feel a little sympathetic for Shedeur here. I do. So moving forward, I think what the NFL can do, and I said it last week on the show, match up with a phone company and get some secure lines. And you hand that player a cell phone when they go and say, I'm committing to the draft. You let that player come to the office or go meet with the player, have a representative from the NFL go meet with the player at the college and say, this phone is a secured line. Don't give the number to anybody. The only people that have this number are NFL GMs, head coaches, and the owners. Those are the only 3 people. Okay? And all the numbers to the phone they are to call you on from are in there. So if you see a number that pops up and it doesn't say a team's name, do not answer it. And then we will try and connect where that phone number is coming from and figure out why. And know that it's a prank call. Don't even answer it. Let it go to voicemail. Secured lines. It can be done. There's the technology is out there to secure a line. Or have the player download. There's many phone apps out there that have secure phone lines connected to them. You can literally recycle not recycle a number, but you can make a number. And then once you're done with that number, you can trash it. And it can never be used again. The technology's out there. We're in 2025. We're almost halfway through 2025. Can you believe that? Damn. May the 4th be with you, by the way. Happy May 4th. But they got to figure something out because there's more reports like Abdul Carter. He said that he got prank called before he got picked. Now, imagine that. Abdul Carter was the 3rd player in the draft to get picked. Number 3 overall. That means the number 1 overall pick got picked, Cam Ward to the Tennessee Titans. The Jacksonville Jaguars traded up with the Browns to grab Travis Hunter at number 2. And then Abdul Carter at number 3, about a half hour into the draft, gets picked. A half hour. That's not very far into the draft. And he got prank called before he got picked. So now the question lies is, who did that? That's the huge question. And I'm sure we'll find out in the next coming days. I'm sure we will. But like I said last week, the NFL needs to go out and secure lines. That's what they need to do. That's going to be the way to protect these draftees from getting these calls. And that way they don't have to, have that feeling of angst and just being let down because somebody wanted to be an asshat and say, hey, we're picking you here. By the way, you're going to have to wait longer. It ain't happening. And that's that. So, guys, we had some news come out. The first trailer, the teaser trailer for Madden and College Football 26 came out. It is a combined teaser. Now, if I can find the teaser for you guys, I'll put it up here. I didn't have it prepped for today, which I should have. But give me 1 second, and I could probably find the teaser trailer for you. See if I can find it. It'd be pretty cool if I can, because then we can watch it together. Actually, I do have it here. Okay, cool. So give me 1 second. I'm going to bring it up on the screen, and we're going to watch this together, because I was pretty excited to see this. And I'll make this full screen. All right, I have you guys up. It's not muted. So here we go. The Madden 26 and College Football 26 trailer announcement. And we're going to talk about this after the trailer. Here it is. It's about a 2-minute trailer, but we're going to check it out, the whole thing. Here we go.
Well, folks, it is draft day. On the clock now, the Lions.
The Detroit Lions select.
When you enter the NFL with that first-round pick label, there's a little bit of an extra layer.
You're expected to lead your team to bigger and better things, finally, no matter the situation you're drafted into.
Hello?
JD, it's Coach DQ with the Commanders. You ready for this?
Been ready, Coach.
Man, I already know. You've been building for this your whole life.
This is so
But the
cool.
work's
Just starting. And you know that. Yes, sir. That's why you went to Texas in the first place. To test yourself. You knew going there you'd be buried on the depth chart from the jump.
Touchdown, Longhorns.
Man, but you never wavered. You never tapped. You never quit. And I'm thinking they don't just hand out those trophies to anyone, huh? No, sir.
Come on. Yes.
Anyone. Just sit with that a minute, man, how important this is. Because anyone don't make it this far. And I damn sure know anyone don't get a spot on this team.
Hey, see lately changed. Remember the change in my pocket. Now we hit the club.
The 99 Club.
Remember them days.
Anyone
yeah.
Superstar, now the whole city saying my name.
don't make it to the top.
For superstar mode, 5-time Super Bowl champion.
Thankfully, I'm not just talking to anyone.
Now he becomes a coach.
No, sir.
We are so fired up to have you here, man. Pack your bags, bro.
The Washington Commanders select.
Welcome home.
Let's go. Hey, since I started rapping, I got rich before I ever go broke. I go back in.
How cool is that? So you can pre-order it right now. It's ready for pre-order. I'm sure you can. I know you can pre-order it over at a video game store. We know where that is, GS, and you can also pre-order it on Xbox and PlayStation. But I'm excited about these two games. I played Madden 25. I played College Football 25. Both games are just so much fun. And let's get into some of the details. For Madden 25 or Madden 26 and College Football 26. Because there's some cool features that I heard about that both games are going to have. I'm just going to do a light, pretty much explanation of what these are going to have. So the deluxe edition is going to have 3-day early access starting on August 11th. So these games are going to be out mid-August. I'm sure college football is going to be out sooner. So college football's release is July 10th. Madden's release is August 14th. Those are the release dates for both games. Okay, for college football, they're going to have deluxe edition and pre-order bonuses. Deluxe edition is going to be 3-day early access starting on July 7th, 4,600 college football points, and early access ultimate team solo challenges, a CUT top prospect pack for pre-orders before June 19th, and a CUT all hand pack dynasty coach points and road to glory skill points. There's also an MVP bundle where you get you get the deluxe edition of both Madden 26 and College Football 26, the MVP on the clock pack for pre-orders before April 29th, 3-day early access on July 7th, and then you get the 4,600 points and everything that I explained that comes with the deluxe edition. Some key features that are going to be part of College Football 26. The MVP bundle is going to be a digital bundle offering both Madden and College Football for the deluxe edition, and available both on PlayStation and Xbox. There's going to be some loyalty offers. Players of previous Madden or NFL college football titles can receive discounts and bonuses for pre-ordering the new games. So right now, for example, if you bought Madden and college football, you get a discount for the next games. So we've always talked about, why don't they just do roster updates for the Madden game? Just release one game and do updates, kind of like what we get for Fortnite or Call of Duty or something like that. You get updates. Why not just do that for Madden or college football? Well, because they want to update the look of the game. And could they technically do that digitally now? Yeah, we're in the day and age where they can do that. But there's other things that they go out and do that make the game a little more special. And if you've played Madden since the beginning, I'm a Madden player since like 1992, okay? I've been playing Madden for a very long time. They update things that are like the little things, like the scoreboard, or this past year's Madden, you see the playoff race. The year before they added the playoff brackets on what the seedings are. They add some cool little features that if you're a hardcore football fan, you're like, hey, this little feature's kind of cool. Like, I like this little feature. Like, even just the look of the scoreboard is like, okay, this is cool. Now, I'm not a big fan of the scoreboard of Madden 25, but I got used to it. I did. But you also get Road to Glory and Superstar Mode integrations. Players can begin in high school with College 26. So they're going back to College Football 2012, where you started off in your senior year of high school and you played the final season. Now, what was cool about that is you were able to customize your team colors, your uniform colors, and the school. So, for example, my high school was Allen High School, okay? And our colors are blue and yellow. So, did I make my high school? Yeah, I did. And then you can also customize your teams that you play. So, for example, our school rival, their name is Deer of High School. They're the Huskies. Their colors are blue and silver, navy blue and silver. So I made my rivals navy blue and silver and called them Deer of High School and played them in the final game of the season because they were the rivals. They were the homecoming game. So you're going to be able to do that again, which is so awesome. And then you're going to be able to transition your Road to Glory player into Madden's Superstar Mode. You're able to do it in the 25 games. I started a quarterback in college football's Road to Glory, and I transferred him over to Madden. I'm now in my 10th season right now currently, and I'm on the Miami Dolphins. I'm a 6-time Super Bowl winner, 6-time MVP. I'm a 9-time league MVP, 8-time offensive player of the year. I'm a Hall of Famer already. And I'm only 30 years old. I got a couple more years I can play. And I plan on doing that. I've taken this Superstar Mode so far, further than I ever have, because I want to see how far I can go. I've actually thought about And for those of you watching live now, if you're not watching live and you're watching the replay, let me know in any comments on social media whether you'd like me to post some content. I was thinking about posting some Madden or college football content on the YouTube, or maybe just going live here on the Huddle Hub podcast and playing some Madden or college football for you guys and bringing that to this, give you guys some more Huddle Hub content than what we just give you here on Sundays. So, hey, let me know. I'm thinking about doing it, though. Also, EA Sports is expected to reveal more details about the features and gameplay for College Football 26 sometime in the month of May. So we got more details coming this month for college football. Now, for Madden, they pretty much have all the same things you're going to be getting in college football as far as the Deluxe Edition and the MVP Edition. But you're going to get MUT points instead of, college football's version of MUT, the CUT. You're going to get 4,600 Madden points, early access to solo challenges, Season 1 elite players for MUT. If you get pre-ordered before July 24th, the cover athlete elite player, there's going to be a cover athlete elite player item. So that can be like a signed card or something. They're going to give you something. Superstar legendary XP boost, franchise coaching ability points, player card exclusive items. I mean, these games are pretty much, this is the most I think they're giving you in a long time when it comes to Madden. Because last year's game, I don't think they gave you this much. I think they gave you like 3,000. So you're getting like 1,600 more points for certain things. But this is exciting. And the trailer is so cool. When I first seen this trailer, I thought they were, imitating Jaden Daniels, because it's like, oh, JD, we're going to take you here with the Commanders. I'm like, Jaden Daniels? Okay, this is kind of cool. They're going to focus on Jaden Daniels. And I'll say this. If you were to ask me who should be on the cover of Madden for 26, I have 3 players in mind. Number 1 is Jalen Hurts, obviously. Number 2 would be Jaden Daniels. Okay. Number 3, Saquon Barkley. And I know you're thinking, Mike, you're an Eagles fan. Of course you'd say more Eagles. Yeah, well, those 3 players right there, I mean, Jalen Hurts is the Super Bowl MVP. Jaden Daniels played freaking lights out this year. He played amazingly as a rookie. And Saquon Barkley, he had a monster season. If I had to pick somebody on the defensive side of the ball, I don't know. Sauce Gardner from the Jets. He's huge. Why not? Jarrett Verse from the Rams. Why not? There's a couple players. I think what we're going to do is we're going to do a Huddle Hub vote for the Madden cover, where I'm going to put something together for you guys to vote on social media. And I'm going to have a timeline as far as voting. Okay, we're going to do we'll do that. We're going to do a Madden cover vote, and we're going to see who you guys pick. And I'm going to think of a timeline. So on next week's show, I will announce the full details of this voting process. Okay, that's what we'll do. So tell your friends, tell your family, go on the Huddle Hub podcast. Links are below here. And the links are right in the Twitch channel too. Go over to twitch.tv/the Huddle Hub podcast if you're watching on YouTube, and click on one of the social media links, and we'll have the voting process up there for you guys. Okay? But that's all the information that we have right now on Madden and College Football 26. I'm pretty excited about it. I get excited every year with these games, and yeah. So let's actually take a 30-second break here. We're going to take a 30-second break, and yeah, I'm not going to go anywhere. I just got a new video for you guys here that you guys can check out. So here you go. All right, guys. So let's get into some more of the news that came out through the world of football this week. Jordan Travis, quarterback from the Jets, after seeking further medical information and advice, has decided to retire at the age of 24. Now, during a game at Florida State back in November 2023, he suffered a very serious injury, very bad injury, and did not play at all last year for the Jets. He obviously was sidelined. He was on IR. He just was not available to play. He was recovering from this injury. He was picked in the 5th round in the 2024 draft by the Jets. So there was some, what was really cool about this is he got picked. Okay. He got picked in the initial draft. He wasn't an undrafted free agent, that got picked up by the Jets later. He got drafted in the hopes that he could have possibly been a future quarterback for the Jets. Okay. But it ends up to where he sought further information because he was still having some issues with this injury and has finally decided, you know what, after seeking this medical information and medical advice, that he's going to retire at the age of 24. Now you're probably thinking, the kid is young. Like, why doesn't he seek further, medical assistance and try and recover? Well, that's the thing, is this injury was so severe to the point where, you kind of had that feeling that his career was over. To even hear that he got drafted and took the chance of coming into the NFL and trying to get back on the field is great. And you have the New York Jets who took him. So obviously he has a training staff that can help him recover and work out and try and get stronger. And that just didn't, I'm sure it happened. He got stronger. He's able to walk again and all that stuff, but he's just not in playing form. And you have a lot of players who come out of the NFL draft, get drafted by teams, and then they decide, you know what, my health is a little more important. I want to be there for my family. So they stay on a team for one season. They stay on the practice squad or as a second or third team guy. They get a paycheck, and then they say, okay, I'm done with football. And we've seen it happen. And I think this is a smart decision by Jordan Travis. He wants to stay healthy for his family. He's probably got future plans. If he's not married, get married. If he doesn't have kids, whatever. Start a family of his own. So, he's young enough to where if he gets healthy enough and he wants to come back, he probably could. He could probably talk to his agent and say, hey, look, I think I'm good enough to go back. Can we try and find a team that will take me? You never know. We could see a resurgence of Jordan Travis in the next 2 or 3 years. You never know. It could happen. It could. But right now, he's decided this is what's best for me. This is what's best for my family, my friends, and everybody who's around me. So, hats off to Jordan Travis for, even attempting to try and play football and move on. But, his decision is best for him, and he's got to move forward. The Arizona Cardinals defensive end Calais Campbell, he's going to wear the number 93. Now, Justin Jones, he wore the number 93 last season for the Cardinals, but Calais Campbell, he used to play for the Cardinals, and he was number 93. So Justin Jones gave up the number 93, gave it back to Calais Campbell, and he will now wear the number 98. Okay, so a little bit of a number change out in Arizona. The Falcons wide receiver Drake London, his fifth-year option was exercised. So the Falcons will pick up Drake London's 5th-year option. Drake London, hell of a wide receiver. The Falcons very smart on picking up his 5th-year option. And I'm sure he's going to get an extension. I don't see why he would not get an extension by the Falcons. He's, a very reliable, good wide receiver. And the Falcons are trying to build not only their defense, but build their offense up to where they could start winning. So yeah, a great decision by the Falcons here. And yeah, so I'm trying to get you guys the full list of 5th-year option players here. Trying to get you guys the 5th-year option players here from team to team. And obviously this thing doesn't want to work for me, but because I wrote down the first couple ones that came out, and then I know the list just got crazy as the days went on when I started this list. So I'm trying to get you guys the full list of fifth-year options that got picked up. Again, I should have probably had this fully prepared for you guys, but I don't. And it was kind of dumb of me not to, but you know, this is what happens when you have a busy week. So I'm just going to go through the list that I have because I cannot find the full list. The Kyle Hampton. So the Falcons, they exercised Drake London's fifth-year option. Kyle Hampton, defensive back, they exercised his fifth-year option. The Bengals exercised Daxon Hill, the defensive back, his fifth-year option. The Raiders, they hired a new assistant GM, Brian Starks, and they signed to the active roster Lakey Tassie, defensive lineman. So, and then the Jets, they exercised Garrett Wilson, the wide receiver, Jermaine Johnson, the defensive end, and Sauce Gardner, defensive backs, fifth-year options. So a couple more fifth-year options. The Eagles, they exercised Jordan Davis, the defensive tackle's fifth-year option. Trying to see if I have any other fifth-year options that got picked up here. There is a couple more. Like I said, there's a huge list of fifth-year option guys out there. The list was put out the other day. And again, I took notes when the fifth-year options first started getting picked up. And yeah, so I think this should be the full list here. Yeah, Travon Walker, defensive end. The Jaguars, they picked up his 2026 option. Aiden Hutchinson's 2026 option. Ahmad Sauce Gardner. Yep. New York Jets got picked up. Kayvon Thibodeau, edge rusher from the Giants. His option is in 20. Okay, these are 2026 guys. Drake London. Oh, no, this is here. 2026. Drake London from the Falcons. Ikem Ikwonu, the offensive tackle from the Panthers. Kayvon Thibodeau from the Giants. Charles Cross from the Seahawks. Garrett Wilson from the Jets. Chris Olave from the Saints. Jameis Williams from the Lions, Jordan Davis from the Eagles, Kyle Hamilton from the Ravens, Trent McDuffie from the Chiefs, Tyler Smith from the Cowboys, offensive guard, Jermaine Johnson, edge rusher from the Jets, Devon Wyatt, defensive tackle, the Packers, George Karlaftis, defensive end from the Chiefs, Dax Hill, defensive back from the Bengals. Evan Neal, offensive tackle from the Giants. Kenyon Green, offensive tackle from the Eagles. He was traded from the Texans. Jahan Dotson, wide receiver from the Eagles. He was traded from Washington. His got declined. Okay, so these are the declined players. Okay, so let's start this over with the declined players because I gave you guys all the fifth-year options that got picked up. But when it comes to the declined players, Evan Neal, offensive tackle of the Giants. Kenyon Green, offensive tackle of the Eagles. Jahan Dotson, wide receiver from the Eagles. Zion Johnson, offensive guard from the Chargers. Treylon Burks, wide receiver of the Titans. That's a big one that I'm kind of surprised on, is the Treylon Burks. Okay? The Titans right now, as far as offense, they're hurting at wide receiver. They are having some wide receiver issues along with, hey, they just picked up Cam Ward. Why would you not keep a fifth-year option on a wide receiver and try and extend him or see if you want to extend him? That makes no sense, but we'll get into that later on as we get closer to the season. Trevor Penning, offensive tackle from the Saints. Kenny Pickett, quarterback of the Browns. Quay Walker, linebacker from the Packers. Khair Elam, cornerback from the Cowboys. He was traded from the Bills. Tyler Linderbaum, center for the Ravens. Devin Lloyd, linebacker of the Jaguars. Cole Strange, offensive guard of the Patriots. Those are the list of players of fifth-year options that did not get picked up. So a lot more players that did not get picked up as fifth-year options. And then those are also the list of players that did get picked up. So, yeah, crazy. So if we go down this line, okay, let's go down this line first off as far as talking about whether this is a good move or not a good move for the player to be picked up or not. Okay. Let's start off with, I want to make sure I don't hurt myself here because I just hit something I shouldn't have and I didn't lose the stream. Okay, cool. So Derek Stingley Jr., cornerback of the Houston Texans. Okay. Picking up his 5th-year option, being exercised. It's smart. The Texans need to keep their defense together and try and build on it. Good move by them. Trayvon Walker, defensive end of the Jaguars. Jaguars picking up his 5th-year option. Hell of a defensive end. I think the Jaguars need to extend him. Bottom line. Aiden Hutchinson, obviously the Lions need to extend him. Sauce Gardner, Jets need to extend him. Kayvon Thibodeau, I think the Giants need to extend him. Now, I know Kayvon Thibodeau, he can be an elite defensive end if the Giants put him in that position. Okay? Now, Kayvon Thibodeau, you do hear his name a lot during Giants games. You do. But when you look at his statistics, okay, they're not very, I don't know if you want to say they're not attractive, but at the same time, it's like, okay, it makes sense. He's an edge rusher, okay? He's a defensive end / linebacker. He goes out into the pass when a running back goes out in the flat. He'll even pick up on a slot receiver if he needs to. His tackling since 2022, 127 combined, 54 assisted. He has 21 sacks on his career. That's not bad for being a 2022 draft pick. You're going into your 4th season. Well, 5th season, yeah. 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So he's going into his 5th season. And 21 sacks as an edge rusher. That's borderline middle. That is. And you're probably thinking, Mike, how can you say that? Well, it kind of is. It's kind of middle. Because his sack numbers should probably be more. He should be at least in the 30s. At least. For the highlighted player that he came out of the draft as. I think the Giants should extend him. At least pick him up for 2 more years. And see what happens. And go from there. Because the Giants are a building team. I mean, they had a hell of a draft. They had an A+ draft. So why not? Pick up Kayvon Thibodeau on your 5th-year option. Ikem Ekwonu, the offensive tackle for the Panthers, pick him up, extend him, build your offensive line. Falcons, extend Drake London, bottom line. Charles Cross, offensive tackle, the Seahawks, extend him. You need to build your offensive line. The Jets, Garrett Wilson, a lot of talk about him seeking a trade during the Aaron Rodgers debacle. Now Justin Fields is there, okay? You got a quarterback that's there that you can build with, that you can build off of, and build around. Justin Fields is not a slack of a quarterback. He's just had some bad luck being in Chicago and then being the backup in Pittsburgh. Had a hell of a start in Pittsburgh. And then they decide, okay, Russ is ready to go in. Let's put Russ in. The Jets making the move of picking up Justin Fields. I think they need to extend Garrett Wilson. At least give him 2 years. 2 years, decent contract. See how him and Justin Fields combined. If things go great, awesome. If things don't, then figure out who's causing things not to be good. Is it Justin Fields or is it Garrett Wilson? And we know Garrett Wilson's a hell of a player. So, I mean, Chris Olave for the Saints, definitely need to extend him. Jameson Williams for the Lions, wide receiver, need to extend him. Jordan Davis for the Eagles, definitely need to extend him. Kyle Hamilton for the Ravens, the safety, need to extend him. Trent McDuffie for the Chiefs. The Chiefs are kind of known for making changes when it comes to positions, and especially at the cornerback position. I could see them extending Trent McDuffie, but it would not surprise me if they don't. Tyler Smith, offensive guard for the Cowboys. They need to extend him, build on that offensive line. Jermaine Johnson, edge rusher for the Jets. They need to extend him. Devin Wyatt for the Packers, defensive tackle. I've seen a couple Packer games. Haven't heard Devin Wyatt's name too much. I would not be surprised if the Packers do not extend him. I could see him hitting the market next year. George Karlaftis, defensive end of the Chiefs. I could see him hitting the market. Dax Hill, defensive back of the Bengals. They need to extend him. They need to build on their defense. Obviously, he dealt with an ACL tear last year, but he's going to get healthy and be back on the field this year. So that's the list of players that got their fifth-year options and my opinion on whether they need to get extended or not. A lot of them need to get extended. They do. We need to get back into the point where players are staying on the teams that they end up with. You go back into the late 90s, early 2000s, you've seen players, they got drafted by a team, they retire with that team. Nowadays, it's players are on a team for 1 year, they're on a different team the next year, they're on a different team the following year. We need to get back to where players are with teams long term. Now, it seems like right now the long term is 3 years. That's the long term contract. I mean, it's very surprising to see players get longer than 3 years. As of recent, George Kittle, he got a 5-year, $75 million contract with the 49ers. So that's crazy. It's not common nowadays to hear longer than a 3-year contract. It's not. And this is smart by the 49ers. I know George Kittle, he's in his early 30s, but who cares? Who cares? The guy is still playing at a high level. He's still playing with intensity. So this was smart by the 49ers. He's going to retire a 49er. He's going to get what he wants. Like I said, the Raiders, Brian Starks, he was hired as the new assistant GM for the Raiders, so it seems like they're going to set him up to either be the next GM in Las Vegas or be a GM somewhere else. As we know, assistants either end up being the GM for said team or they end up going somewhere else and become the GM of the team. Other news that came out. We covered that. DeAndre Hopkins, wide receiver of the Ravens. He's being inducted into the Clemson Football Hall of Fame. Exciting news for DeAndre Hopkins. As we know, DeAndre Hopkins was drafted by the Texans. He played for the Chiefs. He ended up a couple other places now. I mean, D-Hop, hell of a player, hell of a wide receiver, definitely deserves to be inducted into the Clemson Hall of Fame because we do know he's going to end up in the NFL Hall of Fame. So why not end up in his college football Hall of Fame first? Congratulations to DeAndre Hopkins. I think that's it as far as the news stuff because we got a couple of... Oh, no, we do have one more thing we got to talk about as far as the news, and I want to get your guys' opinion on this. Because I have yet to make my full opinion on this one. And I don't know if I want to make a full opinion on this. And I know I'm probably going to get asked what my full opinion on it is on this. And it's something that we may have to kind of maybe tread lightly on. But we're gonna talk about it. That's what we're gonna do. So, as we know, Henry Ruggs, wide receiver for the Raiders, he got arrested back in 2021. He was involved in a fatal car crash. It occurred while he was driving under the influence of alcohol. And his car struck and unalived a person. And Ruggs pled guilty to a felony DUI resulting in somebody being unalived and a misdemeanor for vehicular, MS. Okay? Well, it was announced this week that Henry Ruggs is going to be released from prison in early 2026 due to good behavior. So he serves time. He has good behavior, and he's going to be released early. And the big question that's been out there is, should he be allowed to be back in football? Be back into the NFL? Okay? That's the question. And you guys are probably going to ask me, what's your opinion? And my opinion is no. No. Okay? because he had a responsibility. Okay, number one, when you get behind the wheel of a car, you have a responsibility as a human being to be alert, to be mindful of your surroundings, to be mindful of the people on the road that are also behind the wheel of a car. You have a full-on responsibility, and you are in control of an over 2,000 or 3,000 pound machine. And when you make yourself impaired to the point where you cannot be aware of everything around you, or even of what you have to do, and you cause harm to others, and it's so fatal to the point where somebody is taken from this earth, you're going to face consequences, and he's facing those consequences. But now he's being released from prison on early behavior, on good behavior. Now, I'm sure other people, a lot of people have their opinion on this. Okay? A lot of people have their opinion on that. But this is just based on the football opinion. Okay? We're going to stick to the sole opinion of whether he should be allowed back in football or not. No. I don't care if it's the NFL. I don't care if it's the UFL. I don't care if it's the CFL. I don't care if it's the flag football league that's supposed to be created for adults. No. Henry Ruggs had a responsibility when he got behind the wheel of that car to be aware of himself and his surroundings, and he decided to impair himself and then start that vehicle. Caused an accident and caused somebody's life to be taken. Now, I know it wasn't done purposely. It wasn't his intent. And it was deemed as a car accident, but it was fatal. Which means he washed away all his thoughts of responsibility. And just think of the lives he changed. So why should he be able to go and earn money to make his life better after serving time? Why? I don't care how famous he was. I don't care how good he was. I don't give a shit if he can, sign with your favorite team and win them a Super Bowl. Who cares? No. Now, I know you're probably thinking, Michael, what if he comes and redeems himself? How do you redeem yourself from that? How? How do you redeem yourself from that? You got picked as a top player in college to go play in the NFL and have a great opportunity put in front. Opportunities that a lot of us will never have, may ever have, or ever get. And you washed that all away. You took advantage of it. And ended up taking a life. Again, not on purpose, but you weren't thinking. You took away your responsibility. So if you want my opinion on whether Henry Ruggs should be allowed back in football, no. No. Let him go get a job at McDonald's or something. Work hard. That's my opinion. Whether you like it or not, I don't care. That's my opinion. He should not be allowed back in football. We got one more player to talk about. Okay? And that is one wide receiver, Amari Cooper. Now, Amari Cooper is a free agent wide receiver. And there was a list of top 7 landing spots for him in 2025. I have 10 landing spots. Okay? Now, I took these 7 landing spots, and I agreed with all these 7 landing spots. I did. When this list came out, I was like, I agree with all 7 of these. Well, I added 3 more teams. I did. I added 3 more teams to make this an even 10 as far as landing spots for Amari Cooper. And here are the landing spots. Number 1, the Cowboys. Number 2, the Cardinals. Number 3, the Saints. Number 4, the Eagles. Number 5, the Raiders. Number 6, the Jets. Number 7, the Bills. These are the 3 teams I added. Number 8, the Steelers. Now you're probably thinking, well, the Steelers have DK Metcalf. They have George Pickens. Why would you not want Amari Cooper as a slot receiver? We know the Steelers right now, they're kind of hurting at the quarterback position. But to add Amari Cooper as a slot receiver, whew, the Steelers wide receiver room would be stacked. And then if they decide to go with Mason Rudolph, at least he can't complain that he doesn't have weapons. He would have Amari Cooper, DK Metcalf, and George Pickens. Even with Mason Rudolph at the helm, the Steelers should be good. So Amari Cooper in a Pittsburgh uniform, I'd be for it. And number 9, the 49ers. 49ers, as we know, traded Deebo Samuels. There was talks about them trading Brandon Ayuk. They have Jennings, and they also have Ricky Pearsall. Ricky Pearsall, who was deemed to be the replacement for either Brandon Ayuk or a Deebo Samuels. Ricky Pearsall, even coming in late last year, had a pretty good 2024. Not too bad. But if they added Amari Cooper, I don't think it would be a bad addition to the team. And it would definitely build on their offense leading up to their decision on a Brock Purdy. At number 10 is the Giants. The Giants are the 10th team I think Amari Cooper can be added on. Okay? And it would be a huge help with Malik Neighbors being there. Amari Cooper would be a great addition for the Giants, especially if they decide that they are going to be starting Jackson Dart at quarterback. Now, if they're not starting Jackson Dart and they decide Russell Wilson or, Jameis Winston, at least adding Amari Cooper to that wide receiver room, again, would be another situation like Pittsburgh. You don't know who your quarterback's going to be at the beginning of the year, but at least you know your wide receiver room is set, and you can't really complain. The quarterback can't complain whether they have weapons or not. Bottom line. So those are the 10 landing spots I think Amari Cooper can end up in 2025. We'll have to definitely see where Amari Cooper ends up. But guys, we have one more thing to talk about, and that is the top 10 games that are happening in 2025. All right, we are going to discuss them. I have the history on these games because these games do have some history to them. We're going to make that a separate segment to talk about before we get into it. I'm going to take about 30 seconds here. Okay, so check this out, guys. All right, guys. So before we get into the next segment, if you don't mind, head over to the Huddle Up Podcast on social media, on X, TikTok, and on YouTube at the Huddle Up Pod. And you can hit the follow button right here on Twitch at the Huddle Up Podcast. Would definitely appreciate you guys doing that. So we're going to get into our next segment of the show, and that is the top 10 games that are happening in 2025. I do have some history on these games. So as I bring up I got to bring up a banner, for editing purposes. I got to know what segment I'm into, right? Yeah, right. This is why I should have these things created before I start the show, but I just didn't think of adding his banner. It's kind of dumb of me. So here we go. Top 10 games in 2025 that are happening. And this is a per source from the NFL at NFL.com. So at number 10 is the Packers and the Steelers. Okay, that game is happening this year. Last time we do have some history on the Packers and Steelers. The biggest history is the Packers and Steelers meeting in the Super Bowl a few years back, where the Packers ended up winning and Aaron Rodgers getting his only Lombardi trophy over the Steelers. But the last time that they met was on November 12th of 2023, where the Steelers won 23-19. I'm going to pick winners for these games. It's going to be an early pick, okay? This isn't going to be my official pick because obviously when we get to that game, we'll talk about it. But the Packers and Steelers will play each other this year, and I think the Packers are going to end up winning this game. Right now, you look at it, the Packers are the more complete team. They have a quarterback, they have wide receivers, they have a running back, they have a defense. The Steelers right now, their biggest worry is that quarterback position. And that's the only reason why I'm picking the Packers. The Steelers do not know what they're going to do moving forward as quarterback at the quarterback position. Again, all the rumors of Aaron Rodgers possibly coming to Pittsburgh, that could end up changing the decision on who I pick in this game. So, but right now I'm going to say the Packers. At number 9, the Vikings and the Seahawks will play each other. The last time they played each other was on December 22nd in 2024, where the Vikings won 27-24. I think the Vikings end up winning this game. I do. Now, this is a big game in a small sense because Sam Darnold was the quarterback of the Vikings in 2024, took the Vikings on a phenomenal ride through the 2024 season, ended up in the playoffs, losing to the Rams in the wild card round. Now he's a Seahawk. But the problem is the Seahawks at the wide receiver position, traded away DK Metcalf. They let other wide receivers walk. I don't see the Seahawks having a very good year. I can see the Vikings winning this game. I do. JJ McCarthy, I think, is ready to go. He said he's ready to go for the 2025 season. So I think JJ McCarthy wins this battle and the Vikings win. Again, not an official pick. We'll make those official picks when we get there because, as you know, me and John make our picks week by week. So, yeah. At number 8, the Broncos play the Texans. Okay. Now, at number 10, the Packers are going to be at the Steelers. The Steelers are the home team. The Seahawks are the home team against the Vikings. At number 8, the Broncos will be visiting the Texans in Houston. The last time the Broncos and Texans met was on December 3rd, 2023. The Texans won 22-17. This is going to be a battle. Bo Nix had a hell of a rookie season. CJ Stroud, I think he had a rough year last year, but he had a hell of a rookie season. I think this is going to be a bounce back year for CJ Stroud. Right now, I'm going to say the Texans are going to win this game. I do. I think the Texans are going to win this game. At number 7, the Ravens are going to head out to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. The Chiefs, last time they met was in September 5th of 2024. Obviously, the season opener last year, as we know, literally ended by the tip of toes. Isaiah Likely back of the end zone caught the ball, but the tip of his toe was out of bounds, causing the Ravens to lose 27-20. I think the Ravens are going to get their revenge in this game, and the Ravens are going to end up beating the Chiefs whenever they end up playing. The Bears and the Commanders are going to meet again this year. This time, last year it was in Washington. This year it's in Washington. Again, the last time they met was on October 27, 2024, where the Commanders won on a last-second Hail Mary, and that started the Bears' long losing streak. The Bears had a bad losing streak after that game. Yeah, the Bears, I don't believe, won one game after losing to the Commanders on October 27, 2024. The Commanders won this game 18-15. I think the Commanders, the Commanders are going to go out and probably win this game, and it's probably going to be as close as this meeting was. But who knows? The Bears, they went out, they completed their offensive line, they revamped it. But that doesn't tell you what Caleb Williams is going to come out and do, what the wide receivers are going to do, like a Roma Dunze, their running situation, their defense. I still can sit here and say the Commanders are going to win this game. Again, not an official pick. The Bengals, at number 5, the Bengals are going to head out to Buffalo to take on the Bills. The last time they met was on November 5th of 2023. The Bengals won that game 24-18. Now, last year, the Bills, they weren't expected to do what they did. They weren't expected to even make the playoffs, and they ended up all the way to the AFC Championship game with the Chiefs, right? I think the Bills are going to win this game. Right now, the Bengals defense is kind of uncertain. You know, they have a lot of decisions to make. It's still with Trey Hendrickson and a lot of other players. I mean, they got a lot of decisions to make on that defensive side of the ball. The Bengals, they covered their offensive side. But again, that defensive side is so undecisive of what's going to happen. And the Bills right now, they just kept adding on to what they're doing out in Buffalo. I think the Bills are going to end up winning this game. Again, not my official pick, but as of right now, I think the Bills win this game. At number 4, the Eagles will head out to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. As we know, last time the Eagles and Chiefs met was Super Bowl 59. The Eagles won handedly 40-22. I think the Eagles are going to head out to Kansas City and win this game. And I think it's going to be the same thing we've seen in the Super Bowl. The Eagles did absolutely nothing to change what they did. They're coming in with the same team. A couple guys aren't there, but they had a pretty good draft themselves, where the Chiefs, I think the Chiefs are going to have a downslide this year. I don't think they're going to go 15-2, 16-1. I'll be surprised if the Chiefs win more than 13 games this year. I will. That's why I think the Eagles will go into Kansas City and beat the Chiefs, just like they did in the Super Bowl. At number 3, the Rams are going to head out to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. Last time the Rams and Ravens met was on December 10th, 2023, where the Ravens won in overtime 37-31. Now, both teams, very good teams. I mean, the one question is Matthew Stafford. As you know, he's getting older. He was in the decision area of, was he going to retire this year or is he going to come back and play? He obviously came back and play. They restructured his contract. The Ravens, I think they made some improvements on the offensive side of the ball as well as the defensive side of the ball. I got to say the Ravens win this game as well. At number 2, the Lions are going to head out to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. Last time these two teams met was on September 11th, 2022 in the season opener, where the Eagles won 38-35. I am going to say it again. I think the Eagles win this game. The Lions, I can't sit here and say whether they picked up the piece of the puzzle that they were missing or not, because like I said last year, everybody was all about the Lions making the Super Bowl. I said, no, they're missing something. They're not getting that far. They're not. I said it all year. It's going to be the Eagles. It's going to be the Eagles. It had to be. It was going to come down to the Eagles, Lions, or 49ers at the beginning of last year. And it wasn't going to be the Lions because they're missing something. I think the Eagles win this game. It could be as close as their last meeting in the regular season, but I think the Eagles win this game as well. At number 1, the Chiefs are going to head out to Buffalo to take on the Bills. The last time they met was the AFC Championship game this past year. The Chiefs won 32-29. I think the Bills are going to get their revenge on the Chiefs in the regular season this year, and the Bills are going to end up winning. Now, the Bills and the Chiefs met in the regular season last year, where the Bills gave the Chiefs their first loss. And then obviously the Broncos gave the Chiefs their second loss in the season finale because the Chiefs didn't play anybody. They played all their backups. So the Broncos took advantage of that and got themselves into the playoffs. I think the Bills are going to beat the Chiefs again in the regular season. Their biggest problem is getting over that hump in the postseason and winning in the postseason against the Chiefs. And I think we may even get as far as the Bills heading into the postseason and completing getting over that hump of beating the Chiefs in the playoffs. So, yeah, I went that far. I did. But those are the top 10 games in 2025. Again, the Packers at the Steelers, the Vikings at the Seahawks, Broncos at the Texans, Ravens at the Chiefs, Bears at the Commanders, Bengals at the Bills, Eagles at the Chiefs, Rams at the Ravens, Lions at the Eagles, and Chiefs at the Bills. The top 10 games that are going to happen in 2025. As we know, the schedule release for the NFL is happening on May 14th. And I'm debating whether we're going to do a watch along for that or not. I am. I think we might do a special live or a watch along for the schedule release. So that way we can talk about the schedules immediately. and pretty much go over the schedules for the teams that night. So stay tuned on all the social medias, and I'll let you guys know next week whether we're going to do a watch along or not, because, you know, May 14th is next Wednesday. Not this Wednesday coming up, and I believe it's next Wednesday, I think. I'll have to check. Let me check here. Either next Wednesday or next Thursday, I believe. Next Wednesday. So we may do a special live. I'm not sure, because I also have the boom that night. So if not, we will definitely talk about the schedules on that Sunday. So just stay tuned. With that being said, guys, that's all I have for you today. Like I said, about 60 minutes, maybe a little more, depending on how quick we get through things here. But all I had was new stuff for you guys today, and some special things to talk about. Other than that, we're done here. That's it. That's all we got. So make sure you guys are following all the social medias for the Huddle Hub podcast over on TikTok, X, and YouTube at the Huddle Hub Pod. Again, that is at the Huddle Hub Pod over on X, YouTube, and TikTok. And then make sure you're following here on Twitch at the Huddle Hub Podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, please head over to the Twitch channel at the Huddle Hub Podcast and hit that follow button. Subscribing on YouTube, because that's how you follow on YouTube, is hitting the subscribe button. If you want to follow me, guys, personally, you can find me at Metal Mike 714 all across the socials. Instagram, X, TikTok, Snapchat, Twitch is Metal Mike 714. That's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for joining me. As I always say, be good to each other, be kind to each other, take care of each other, be patient with each other. Remember, the world is not moving as fast as you think. Until next time, guys, we'll see y'all later. Deuces.